Hello, my name's Donna Blinston, and I want to talk about the communication model in NLP. Communication is something that's really important to me, and whether that's just because of me as a person or as me as a nurse, communication is the centre of our work, yet there's so much misunderstanding, miscommunication. Why? Well, I think the NLP model of communication explains it, and by being aware of the communication model, how we interact, how we're perceived, how we make judgments without even meaning to or realising that we are, we can be more self-aware, address these issues within our communication so that our communication is firstly more successful, that we get the results that we're looking for, but also to remove the misunderstanding that other people are having because of what we're saying. In the NLP communication model, they believe that there is 2 million bits of information continuously bombarding us every minute of our waking day. Yet we only process and use 126 bits of that information. That's a big jump. And the way they explain the difference is that for everything that's happening outside of us, we delete, distort, and generalize the information down so that we can process it. But how we choose what we delete, distort, and generalize depends on us as individuals, our own unique makeup, our filters, what's important to us, our values, our beliefs, the decisions that we've made in the past, our memories, our life experience, our social, economical experiences, our families, the way we were brought up, our beliefs with regards to our religion, our spiritual views. All of these impact on our communication because we'll pay attention more so to things that mean something to us than things that don't. So a way to explain this is if you are walking down the street with a group of friends, for example, or a person of the opposite sex, and there's a new shop that's opened. So say it's a makeup shop, an accessory shop, a clothes shop, a coffee shop, handbag shop, shoe shop. The females are more likely to notice that in comparison to a male. Just in the same way that a new computer or hardware shop or bike shop or sports shop that opens up is more likely to be noticed by a male. Now, I am myself doing huge generalizations here, but you get the point. Distortions are the way we distort reality, and people do this all the time. Imagine the room that you're in now in bright red. You can do it. How would you have been able to decorate your house, choose an outfit, design your wedding, design a birthday party, or anything like that if you couldn't distort what is already there, what's already known as true? You wouldn't have been able to decorate your house. Architects couldn't design houses. You couldn't plan the furniture, go and buy a couch or buy bedding until you can see it in your room. Generalizations are what we also do all the time. We stereotype people. We stereotype things, experiences, and put them into boxes. It's what we do, it's how we cope, how we generalize information so that we don't have to process so much information at one time. With regards to the 2 million bits, you're now listening to me, watching this video. You might not be aware of the noises around you, like the sound of the telly or the washing machine, the hoover, the water running through the pipes, the traffic running past outside, the children playing, the birds. They're all happening, and when I mention them, you'll notice them. That's because I've brought your attention to them. You will always hear them, but you won't focus in on them in the same way because you're paying attention to something else. You won't see the other things around you. They'll be in your field of vision, but they won't be in the same focus because you're looking at the computer screen. The smells that you can smell, the washing, the general smell of the house, the cooking, the smell of the perfume of somebody that's walked in or walked past. You won't notice it until I mention it. Just as you won't be aware of the feeling of the seat underneath your bottom, or your sock in your shoe, until I mention it, yet they were all there just before I mentioned it. This is because we delete what's unnecessary to be brought to our attention so that we can focus on specific things. Once we've deleted, distorted and generalised the events outside of us, we create our own internal representation of the event that has happened. So that's our representation of the reality. It's this representation, the internal image, that creates our state and our physiology. And the way that I mean by state and how that can impact on us is if you imagine coming home from work, you're shattered, you've had a long day, you're busy, and you just don't want to go to the gym, but you've got to go to the gym. 1, because you've paid for it. 2, because you're picking up a friend or you're meeting a friend there. 3, because if you don't, you're never going to get in that bikini or get into that suit for the wedding. So you go to the gym, you're shattered, and the last thing in your mind is going and working out for an hour. But you go, you get to the gym, and you're there, you've slogged out for an hour, you're finished, and you're rejuvenated. You're energised, you're upbeat. Now, logically, if you were shattered before, you've slogged for an hour in the gym, how are you going to be more energised afterwards? You're more energised because you've changed your state, you've changed your physiology. And by doing that, you're seeing things differently. You're no longer shattered, tired. You're no longer exhausted and unmotivated. So you're seeing things differently because of the way your state has changed. That is making the results that you have in your behaviour different. Another example of this would be if you're looking out on a sunset. If you and yourself are in a low mood or fed up, depressed or in a negative state or emotional, you're not going to see that sunset in its full glory. You won't see the colours that it's transpiring over the sea or the landscape, the changes in the clouds. You won't see how it's highlighting certain aspects of the landscape because you're more involved in what's going on with yourself. It's like you've got, instead of rose tinted glasses, you've got grey, dimmer switched tinted glasses on. So you're not noticing things the same way. However, if your mood and your state was happy, jolly, bowled over in love, joyful, you're going to see every part of the beauty of that sunset because you're looking at it through different eyes. And this is the way the communication model works. Being aware of how we are, what we're paying attention to, what we're focusing on, aware of our filters, aware of what's important to us, will make us more appreciative of how we're communicating, how we're being perceived, and why we're perhaps being misunderstood. What is it about our communication, about what we're doing, that's making somebody else misunderstand us? How could we explain it differently? The NLP Communication Model helps us to understand how we use our language and how language is used to create the behaviours that we present. Thank you.